Okay, let me start off by saying, for the love of God, do not lift your zero turn like I'm lifting mine. But anybody that knows me personally knows I'm half crazy. I think I got it set up to where it's not going to come off. They do make an attachment to go onto a lift for this. I have made sure that my locks are locked in. The only thing that I possibly would have to worry about is these moving in. But I've got it off the ground and I can't even get this thing to budge. So with that disclaimer, don't do this. It's time for my annual annual maintenance. I bought this new in 05. I used to change the oil and filter every year until the price of oil got out of control, because this takes Mobil 1, both for the hydraulics and for the engine oil. So now I've decided to follow the maintenance schedule loosely. I have 70 hours on this since I changed the oil last time. So I'm in great shape. Maybe that's why I've never had anything go wrong with this, other than the occasional, you suck your dog chain in and wipe out a spindle, but that's operator error. So what I got going on today is complete oil change. I'm gonna readjust the deck height using the adjusters. For some reason, every year or two, the deck gets tilted, goes out of height. I've got creeping at neutral. I'm going to adjust that. And when both levers are forward, I got a slight pull to one side. I'm going to adjust that. So first things first, I'm going to get this in the air, get the oils draining, and change the blades. Well, somebody sort of had a good idea. They put an elbow on there to drain it, but they didn't leave enough room to put a hose on it, so it just drips all over the rail. So that's what this is. I like the drain cock, so you not have to pull the plug out. Yeah, you can see this oil's got under 100 hours on it. It's still in decent shape. It's not hitting the rail too bad. When I do this on the ground, it does. Oil filter's a pain in the ass. I bought one of these fancy dancy sockets for the oil filter. It's the only way you can do these. You don't have room to get a regular one in there. And if you do, you'll probably break the oil pressure solenoid or switch. Yeah, all in all, it will like the new oil. So while this is draining, onto the blades. Okay, it's dripping away. Going to use the impact to get them off. I'm not going to use the impact to put them back on. And I always put nickel anti-seize on them. That's half a season with the blade. I can make that work. The kickbacks aren't shot, so that means I can sharpen them. Try to clean the mower deck every time. Sometimes that doesn't work. So driving up and down the sand driveway, the sandblast, it works too, but that wears out the blades. Yeah, I just set them up there. Get them started finger tight. Be sure the kickbacks are facing up. Well, you're not going to get the cut you want. Oh, what the hell? There. That's better. I like to tighten them up with the wrench. I get a better feel for it. Click. Click. Make sure you got these tight. You don't need them flying out to shoot, knocking some kid off his bike, cutting his legs off. So that's it for the freaking blades. That's pretty easy. Let's go back to the oil. Okay, before we put the oil filter in, you gotta treat it like a post-menopause woman. Get just a little bit of lube, not too much. Nobody likes to be ooky. Before I forget, first things first, gotta tighten up the drain cock. God, I know there's a joke in there somewhere. I'm thinking. I mean, with the filter lube drain cock, come on. I'm not on my game today. Just give that a little snug. Make sure the old seal didn't stick to it. Everybody's done this enough. Okay, and guess what? Jesus, left it over here. I don't know why. I cannot leave my tools where I'm using them. And I didn't even put it back on a box. I only had one problem with runnability with this engine. It was surging, and I couldn't figure out why. And I pulled the oil or the air filter off, and the air filter was dirty. So if you get these twin Kawasaki's that surge, okay, that should be good enough. Come on, get off of there. Ah! Hey, top off the oil before I forget. Okay, you gotta flip the seat forward, take the engine beauty cover, flip it forward to get at the plug here. I like to jam a funnel in there so I don't have to hold it. The book says it takes 2 quarts with the oil filter replaced. So that's where we're gonna start. This is the European formula of Mobil 1. I couldn't get regular Mobil 1 here for some reason, but I do notice that the European formula is not as clear for whatever reason. I have no idea. So I'm going to put it in, start it up, let it sit for a couple seconds, and then check the oil, and then top off as needed. Hey, while I'm in here, let's do the air filter. Sure, that's probably dirty as hell. A little bit. Good thing about these is you can go blow them off. I like to blow from the inside out. That way it doesn't embed all this stuff into the paper element. After I get the majority of this blown out this way, look at it coming out of there. Then you can go through it and get it that way. 5 minutes of blowing, that usually does it. Okay. Only one thing when you put this back together, make sure it's a little snug. Make sure the drain weep hole is facing down, not up. Hydro lock's a thing. Actually, it says top for the people that can read. But it's on a slight angle. So, and there's lock tabs. So it's really top and to the left. Okay, onto this mess. There's really no drain plug for the hydrostatic fluid, hydro fluid. Yeah, that's where it goes. But down here is the filter, and it is a pain in the butt to get to. And it's a different size, and I don't have the right end socket thingamadoo. So I'm going to put it up in the air, and then I'm going to use a strap on it to get that off. Well, what do you know? I can get a filter wrench on this one. Actually, this is the first time I've had this thing on the hoist. I didn't have a hoist all these years. God, who was the gorilla that put this on? And once again, it's going to drip all over everything. This one takes a while. Oh, that fluid looks pretty good, actually. I left the cap off up above so it wouldn't vacuum lock this. But it looks like this is going to be draining for quite a while. So while this is draining, I'll go around and start hitting some Zerk fittings down here. I'm going to do a visual inspection of everything. Checking these. There's a little bit of wobble in there. That's not too bad. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have any side-to-side play, just a little bit of wobble. I'll just let those things go until they start screaming to be replaced. There's some Zerk fittings right there that I've never hit before because I've never had it off the ground to know that they were there. I'm sure it's in the book somewhere. Yeah, there's Zerk fittings everywhere on this thing. They don't come to, yeah, like here. They're everywhere. And I'm not going to bore you with me going around and lubing everything. This one, you know you've got it full when the cap pops off. Just kind of do a visual. Make sure nothing's too crazy. Too wobbly there. Make sure the wheels are rotating. Oh, look at this. I have this. I got this wheel. Looks like it's starting to, yeah, it's coming off center. God, it's all I need. So I'm going to be pulling this wheel to take a look at that. Let me get the lubing going first. I'm going to handle the side-to-side play this way. I'm just going to snug this up a little bit and pull these arms in. Get that spinning. Oh, there we go. Side play's gone. I still have a problem here. It's not digging into that spindle arm quite yet. I already know I'm going to need bearing and races, so I'll go ahead and order that. And when it comes in, I'll replace those later. Hey, be sure you use the right filter. And let's top this one off a little bit. For some reason, it uses Mobile 1. Whatever. It's all good. Usually that paper element takes a couple pours to gurgle down. So I'll be doing this a couple times till I get it leveled up with the top. Be sure not to drip any dirt into it. It's a filter. We don't want dirt on that side. Okay, the seal was starting to come out of here and it was almost twisted, so it's a lucky thing I caught it. Reminder to myself not to tighten this one up so tight, huh? I think that was over tight. So what? A rule of thumb is what's supposed to be hand tight and then a quarter turn. Yeah, this seems to end up being a little more than a quarter turn when I do it for some reason. If you do it too tight, you can damage the seal. But I don't want this shaking loose when I'm riding it either. Okay, I'm calling that good. Let's top this off. The way to do this is, oh boy, I'll hoist this in the way. There's two different level marks in there. There's a hot and a cold. You can see it. This takes about 2 quarts. I'm going to fill this up to the cold. And then when I get this off the hoist, then I'm going to run it for a little bit and top it back off to cold. I'm going to mow the lawn and then top it off to hot. So that's the way you handle this. It's about 2 quarts. Now the fun part. You can use this arm to lift it up. I'm using the jack just because it's more dangerous. I'm going to have body parts under it. I wouldn't advise it. What you need to do is have the blades lined up front to back. Now, the easiest way I found to do this, let me see if I can do this from under here. I've got the far one lined up front to back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my foot on the center one, and then I'm going to rotate this blade, and that'll slide on the belt. So now I've got all 3 blades lined up front to back. And then this is where it's going to get fun. Okay, you're going to need to make some blocks. I made some blocks at 3 1/4, 2 at 3, 2 at 3 1/4, and 2 at 3 1/8. The first thing I'm going to do is there needs to be a tilt where the front end's down lower, 3/8 to 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to put the shorter box in the front on the bottom of the blades, and then I'll put the taller ones on the back. Start with this at the 3-inch level, and then right here are your adjusters. I forgot an important first step. Put 28 PSI in all the tires. Made a huge difference. So I'm really not that far out of adjustment. This block right here, I'm only about an 1/8 inch, and the one back there is perfect. It's fitting under it. I just got to go to the other side, and this is where I know it's going to be off because I can visually see it. I can't get it. Yeah, look at the difference. I've definitely got a tilt. So this side needs to come down. Now, these springs should be 11.5 in between here. They are. I'm not going to mess with that right now. What I am going to do is I need to loosen this nut up and then tighten this one, and then that'll allow that mower deck to drop down. Like I said, I've already got it at its max distance. Let's see if I can dial this in. All right, I'm going to bring that nut back. Just a little loose. Get it to work. I can just barely get it to slide back and forth. There we go. That one's good. Now, I got to look up on adjusting the back one. Actually, I got ahead of myself. I want to level it side to side first. So I got to bring this side up. I don't know if you can see in there or not because it's kind of dark. But so I'm going to go back and forth and fine tune this. So to lift it, I have to tighten this nut. I'm not even going to bother. I don't know if it's going to show it or not. Jeez, what the hell? There we go. That's better. So you can see that it's lifting. Okay, it's almost there. Okay, it's there. I'm going to go back to the other side. And like I said, I'm going to have to rock this back and forth a little bit till I get this this deck level all the way across. Okay, this has got to come down about a 1/2 inch. I might have enough adjustment right here to do it. If not, I might have to lift it back to that hole. You need to loosen, just loosen it, that locking nut there. And then there's a locking nut here that's loose. And then take a 6mm Allen wrench and then back this down to lower it. Yeah, do both sides at the same time so it doesn't throw everything out of cattywampus. Okay, I was having a problem getting this adjusted. I was running out of limits. I couldn't get it adjusted. I've had this for a while. I don't think I ever had the deck adjusted right. This is the first attempt of me really hitting it. I just checked the manual. It's supposed to be 11.5 between washers in the upright position. It was adjusted at 11.5 in the tension position. I think that's going to be the cause of my problems. So right now I am going to pull in these nuts to where I get 11.5 between here and try this shit show all again. Okay, I've been playing with this for an hour. I get it adjusted, but they're slacking one of the chains. So what I've decided to do is back to basics. So the jam nuts in the rear, flush. Chain bolt holes at the bottom hole, both sides, the back. Top hole for the front. Got the adjuster all the way down. I've got this in the travel lock position, which is as high as it goes. And I've measured 11.5 inches. Now what I'm going to do is lower it to the 3-inch position, put my gauge blocks in there, and try this all again. Well, I'm not going to lie, that was miserable. I kept on having a problem with this chain being loose here. But eventually, with adjusting these nuts, these nuts, these nuts, these nuts, I got the blocks all where they need to be, front and rear. So the deck is level side to side, and it's got its slight little slope. Now, I just got to grease the spindle bearings. I'm going to run it a little bit, get the air out of the hydraulic system, and adjust neutral and the draft. Okay, to do the hydraulic adjustments, jack it up, make sure the jack's not touching the wheel or the pulley. Disconnect the safety switch from the seat. Right there. And I just use like a cotter pin as a jumper. Put it in here. And then that way I'll be able to start this thing up and run it in gear. And then I can make my adjustments. Okay, this is going to be a pain. I can't show you exactly what I'm doing because it's going to get loud. But I'm going to turn this to half throttle. I've got this in the neutral position. And then I'm going to adjust this rod right here until the wheels are slightly rotating backwards or not moving at all. I'm not even at half throttle, and this one's moving pretty good, so I'm going to have to make an adjustment on it. Kind of show you what's going on at idle. The wheel's rotating forward, so I need to turn this knob clockwise. And as I turn it clockwise, this wheel will start to slow down. And then stop. I went a little too far, it's going reverse. I'll move it counterclockwise. I got just a little bit of pressure on it. So that's the right hand wheel I'm adjusting right now. I'll get that to where that wheel's not moving again. And now that I got the right wheel adjusted, left wheel, this rod right here, there's a ball joint. Focus. There, there's a ball joint up here. One of these is left-handed and right-handed and left-handed threads. Back these off appropriately so that you can do your adjustment. Oh, there's the left-hander right there. Now, again, with it running, you can adjust this rod so this wheel stops moving or slightly moves backwards. I'm going to burp the throttle a couple times with it in gear, move forward to reverse, make sure everything goes back to not moving or slightly in reverse, and tighten everything down. Okay, I got it. I took the seat clamp down so I can move these back and forth. Go forward and reverse a couple times, put it in neutral. It should slowly go in reverse. If you put any pressure on it, it'll stop. Same thing for this side. So now I got to tighten these up. Tighten these lock nuts up without messing with the adjustment too much. Well, this is typical. It took me all day to do this damn thing. I got golf coming up, and I'm trying to mow the lawn, and it's starting to rain. I don't think this thing is tracked this good freaking ever. I do know I'm pissing off a lot of mosquitoes. Long overdue. This was long overdue. Ooh. I gotta use both hands. The skeeters are getting me. I'm calling bullshit. Spend all day working on this damn thing. Can't even get the lawn mowed because it's now starting to rain. And then I gotta go freaking golf in the rain. Give me something strong. Do some Earth Rider.